In this video, I'm going to be talking about washing dishes. If you are a college student and you are going to be living on campus, then washing dishes is a potential task that you will be completing, especially if your dorm room happens to have a kitchen and a sink to be able to do dishes in. With increased independence, being able to make your own food, you're going to need different supplies like pots and pans, and also dishes like plates and silverware. Once you use these items after cooking food, you're going to need to wash them. You most likely won't have a dishwasher in your dorm room unless you are very lucky. And so, in that case, you will need to be washing your dishes by hand in the sink. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the supplies that are needed for washing dishes, and then also what some of the steps are to complete the washing of dishes by hand. So let's dive into some of the supplies that you will need. So let's look into some of the supplies that you will need for washing dishes. So first of all, you should have dishes such as plates, cups, and silverware, such as forks, knives, spoons. You may also have bowls or any other items that you may use on a regular basis that you can use for prepping your food or storing the food. And so after you have all the required dishes, these are the things that you will be cleaning. And so some of the supplies that you will need to be able to complete the act of washing dishes are some dish soap. So this is an example. You can use liquid soap like this. And you need some kind of item to be able to scrub the dishes with. So you could use different types of sponges here to scrub your dishes off with. You could pour the soap onto it and then scrub the dishes from there. There are also different types of sponges or brushes that are out there in the store. So it just depends on what your preference is or potentially what kinds of dishes you are washing. You may need a washcloth if you want to wipe the counter surfaces, especially if the counters might get messy or have soap on them following washing the dishes. Anytime you may need this, you can clean surfaces and different things that could be useful to you. You may also want a towel to dry hands or to dry your dishes after you have washed them. So let's see a few examples of washing dishes. As far as putting soap on your sponge, you may have a little thing here that you can pump the soap out of. Other times you might not have this, so you have to directly put the soap on the sponge through the container. You may want to get your sponge wet first, and then you can squirt the soap on, or if you have a bottle, you could potentially put this in a smaller container and then squirt it out, or just pour it directly onto the sponge. So let's say I have a glass here. I'll want to rinse out any liquid or food on the item and then scrub on both the outside and the inside. So make sure that you really get the whole dish clean and that you're not just rushing. And then once you have cleaned it thoroughly, you want to rinse off all of the soap so that it doesn't stain the glass or stay on there. Once all the soap is off, you'll place it to the side where it can dry with the other dishes. So if you have a plate, you'll want to rinse off the excess food and then make sure to scrub it well on both sides. Then rinse the water off here, or wash the soap off with the water, and then place it over here with the other dishes to dry. When washing silverware, it's important to wash them very well, especially because these items will have food stuck on them, and you don't want to have them not be clean because they can have a lot of germs, especially if you're sharing silverware with a roommate. So it'll be good to really make sure that these are fully cleaned. And once you're done with all the dishes, you may rinse out the sponge. And then maybe you have a container or something that you can put the sponge in. That way it can dry. And you're all set. You may think about having a towel next to your sink as well so that you can dry off your hands and then dry off any of the surfaces around the sink so that it's just clean and not so messy. So to conclude this video, I just want to have you think about maybe some of the supplies that are going to be needed for you when washing dishes. What kinds of sponges might you need? Do you want sponges or some other cleaning supply, like some sort of brush? And as far as the dishes themselves, do you want more plasticware or do you want glassware? Plastic can be cheaper, and if you drop it, it won't break. So that can sometimes be more beneficial, especially if you're just in a dorm room and you need dishes for a short period of time. Also, another consideration is if you have a roommate, then how are you going to designate who is going to clean what dishes? Is there a time frame that you want the dishes to be done, such as having all the dishes from the day be done and clean at night? Or do you want to be able to have the flexibility of knowing that if I used a plate on Monday, it should be cleaned by Tuesday night? Whatever works with you and your roommate, that is something that you should consider and discuss so that you can keep your dorm room clean and to make sure that everything just is in order. And this provides an opportunity for you to be able to set boundaries and some of those rules in a shared space with your roommate. So I hope this video was helpful to you to see a little bit about the supplies and different things that you will need to think about purchasing for college, as well as just thinking through the steps of making sure that your dishes are as clean as possible.